Okay. Well, hello. If you have been feeling like everyone else seems to be making a way or finding a way, and there's even a part of you that knows that you're going to get through, like there's something that you're supposed to be doing or working on or creating or starting or whatever it is, it just feels so far. This reading is directly from your angels and guides. Someone wants you to understand it's your time. And you don't get that for some reason. It's really important to ask yourself why you believe that as you process this message. Let's go ahead and lay out a spread. I've already blessed and shuffled. Let's see what we got. Let's get one more. Whoa, okay. And you want to be first? You'll be first, little babes. All right, so I want to focus first on our outer world and then go to our inner world. I'm going to split the deck for that purpose. All right. So let's start with the outermost. Okay. What do we need to understand? Wow. In this deck, there are a few additional cards. And this is one of the cards that it's not colored in. It's kind of like a draft card that they left in for some reason. And in the past, this card has actually come up when talking about like our person, and the person that we want in our life and the person we desire. And there's something that is drawing me back to that specific meaning behind it because I do think that this is also happening for us now. We are starting to ask, why can't I see my world in color? Why isn't there more divine, positive, good energy flowing into my world? Why doesn't it feel like it used to? Something's different, something's changed. Is it me? Is something wrong with me? Have I gone colorblind, like spiritually? And so this is really trying to bring to your attention that because of the attacks that you've endured, because of everything you've been through with the world around you and the people that are supposed to support you and love you, and even feeling a little bit off in your own space, all of that has had a really big impact on the boundaries that you decided to set. But one of the issues when we set boundaries and we're under duress or pressure is that we don't realize we've made the boundaries a little bit too firm. You may lately have been feeling like it's okay to start bringing the boundaries down. And you're like, okay, so this must mean good things are coming. And it almost feels like nothing still is happening. And this is where I titled this reading, Delays Are Over, because that is probably the best word to describe what you've been going through. And it's actually been for quite some time. But right now, because you were finally expecting something to change, right? Like when you thought nothing was going to be different and it was like you didn't really feel like it was a delay. But now you're knowing deep down inside that something's supposed to happen, something's supposed to give. And it's like, ugh, what am I doing? What am I missing? And this is letting you know that the limitations that you have put upon what's possible, you're not wrong. In fact, it's like you're being validated right now. You have every right to want to put that up and say, you know what, I'm not even going to deal with it. But divine is trying to tell you something very, very important. This seems to be a gray area. What are we missing? Whoa. This is the Eight of Wands. This is the card that actually in the tarot says delays are over. But the way that it looks in this particular um, tarot deck is like it's giving flower of life incarnate. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, imagine someone drew the flower of life underneath this and then like an artist sketching, And then on top of it, they came in and created this beautiful image. It's giving foundational creativity, creator energy. So this is another thing you got to understand about right now is that if you believe that you're not next in line, like everybody else is first, like you have to even help other people first, or that maybe the buzz that you're feeling is just wishful thinking. If you're in that place, that is exactly where in my life, I kind of believe that there's like this almost like supernatural enemy that they're not just after me to be after me. They want me to fail because then their dark, evil, whatever can succeed, right? Not everybody believes that. But I think that there's something in us that understands there could be an opposing or oppressive force for some reason. And it's interesting that this particular season that you're about to enter into has so many blockages, but they're also not trying to bring attention to it. They're not, it's not like in the past, you've been through this before where there was something big coming and you were ready for the fight and there was so much going on and then you move forward. This is different. They're almost trying to lay low. And so you can feel the icky energy around, right? You can feel it, but it's not really bothering you. If anything, you've noticed you've been bothered by it and you're like, where's my peace? Why does this even matter to me? So this is very, very interesting. This is, oh, and I just looked up and there's 8 watching. 8. I don't know why I feel this so strongly. This is a point where there is something really big coming in. And it's funny that we're talking about kind of like this is the demo card in this deck where maybe they didn't fill it in, they didn't do the colors because there is this card in this deck colored in. It's a little bit different, but it does exist in here. And we're talking about creator energy and all that. We're talking about someone who doesn't want you to stand in your power or even find your power. And then the confirmation of delays are over. Plus 9 plus 8, 17 breaks down to 8 again. There is like a karmic completion that already happened, especially for those of us who have like spiritual counterparts who are also a part of like the grand design and also like meant to do something really important or very gifted. So that's already kind of confirmed for us. But now when we're looking at ourselves, it's like, I do kind of feel like I'm supposed to do something big. I almost even feel like I'm supposed to start my like a new season or new version or even like a whole new life, a new dimension. Something's weird. Eh, But I feel like I'm looking around and nothing's changing, And then this comes up. So I'm very much intrigued. All right, let's go ahead and check in with this spread. So, what do we need to understand first and foremost about like if we're talking about the world around us and not our inner self, the space, right? How we've been existing, our environment. What is it that we should be looking for? There are signs and sinks everywhere trying to get our attention right now that we're missing, and that we're even things are being like, what is it? The wolves being pulled over our eyes, right? They don't want us to know, but divine and our guides are like, "Psh, BS. You're gonna know this. You're not going to miss this season. This is for you. It's what you've been preparing for. It's what you've been waiting for. What do you need to understand about your home environment, the space around you, all of that?" Queen of Pentacles? Okay, that's actually dope. The Queen of Pentacles sits and she examines the world around her and realizes that there is so much there. There's so much beauty. There's so much abundance. There's more. So, this is interesting. This says the first thing you need to do is maybe take an accounting or an inventory of your resources. This could even be saying you have more money available to you than you think. Today, I forgot that my partner had given me some cash. He had asked me to send him some money. So he gave me the cash. I sent him the digital money, and then I put the cash away, like in a purse. I was on a walk or something. Forgot it was in there, and I just found it today. That's the kind of thing I'm saying. There's weird, like not necessarily just finding money in your pocket energy, there's more to it than that. There might be projects that you've been wanting to do. I recently decided I'm finally going to do this thing that I wanted to do for 4 or 5 years, and I had all the tools and supplies. And that to me is trying to point something out. You can trust your past self more than you've been trusting your past self. You can trust the you that planted those seeds. So a part of you maybe not believing that this is your time, that the delays are over, that this is a really beautiful season of miracles for you is that everyone else seems to have so much more or to be given so much more, to have access to so much more. And maybe you've always felt very limited and you're thinking, Like I've been trying to do this thing and it's never worked because of the position I've been in. What's the difference? And divine is saying, I have been planting seeds in you. The same way you've been planting seeds in the world around you your whole life and really never been, reciprocated, right? You actually are, you may not really want to think about this way, but you are about to reap and have a whole bunch of good karma reaped and heaped upon you because of everything you've done in the past. But divine has also done the same thing for you. Divine has been doing things and making you decide things and all this different stuff so that at certain points along your path, boom, you suddenly look around and you go, I didn't even realize I had everything I needed. So, okay, first and foremost, this might be just even saying, walk around your house, your yard, your car, like walk around your car. You get what I'm saying though, right? Like look around you. Go dig in the couch for coins. This seems so silly because it's almost giving like lack, right? Like, oh, I need to figure out what I had. And it's like, see, perspective shift. I need to go look and see what divine seeds have been planted. And the more that I find, the more I will continue to find. Good. Okay. What about like some of us have been having the urge to have some more fun, but we either don't feel like we can just for financial reasons or we just I don't know, there's something blocking us, but there's also some of us that are like fun. Like I don't have the emotional, what are you talking about? There's no that doesn't exist. But for some reason divine is actually calling you out of I think a very oppressive forcing just kind of under thumb energy into creation, right? Like flowing, shining upon people. This is about taking your in and putting it out, right? And a part of that involves you actually going and doing these things or experiencing stuff or whatever. What does divine want you to understand there? It's the hermit. And this is very, very interesting because I tapped it, but I didn't touch it and it didn't go all the way in. But if you have been at home, or if you have been stuck, or if you have been going out to the old watering hole, or if you have whatever it is that you either used to do, or whatever it is that you desire to do moving forward, you were probably right to go hermit mode, not just because of whatever negativity you've been experiencing or no, but you were probably right to go hermit mode just because there wasn't enough energy in you that was positive and light and all that was for other people. It was like that was actually meant for you at that time. Now you have this not only kind of like a recharge and this overabundance of energy, but also divine has been planting seeds. You have this urge and this desire to like share your energy now. Like there's something has shifted, but the problem is you in growing wiser now kind of have to question things like, oh, should I go put myself in this energy or that place or with this person, right? I'm different now. I've grown. Is it really wise? But this is where divine is asking you to lay some of the boundaries down, to not assume it's going to be like it used to be, especially because you're different. But most of all, there is something you are supposed to be putting out there. And you know what? I think you know that. I think that you, like, I have one of my favorite clients and friends in the whole entire world. Her whole thing is always like, I want to provide the world with more joy. That's the light that she's supposed to shine. And every time I talk to her, every time I hear from her, she is going out of her way to create something with the intention of making the world feel better in some way. What's your thing? Like, what is it that for some people it's like, yeah, I do that, but I like to cook. For some people it's like, yeah, I do that, but I tell jokes. For some people, you know what I mean? It's like for some people it's just I'm just my presence being somewhere can change the vibe or the atmosphere. Well, interestingly enough, we're sitting here asking, hey, why aren't you going out and doing things or having fun or fun for you could even just be going and walking around the park or something, but there's still a chance that you could interact with a person or even an animal or something or just you might not even know. I have clients that believe in like grid work, right? Like I'm a light worker. There are people who believe there's like a grid around the planet and that maybe there are different people in each little grid point kind of doing some sort of work with that energy. It goes way beyond that. Again, I'm not a grid worker, so I'm not explaining it properly. But what if you are a part of that? what if there is some area that you have been given dominion over that you're supposed to be working in, and you think it means you're supposed to go be like beep boop, but it's actually just like me standing in this one spot changes everything. If that feels like your truth, again, whether it's grid work or just on a smaller scale, like, no, Grace, it's not exactly that, but you're onto it. Divine is, I mean, point blank saying it's time. It's not about what you do. It's not about where you go, who you choose to interact with. It is about shining the light that divine has been pouring oil in your lamp. Divine has been refreshing everything in you so that you can shine even brighter. All right. And it's time. Interesting. So the two things we've gotten so far is you're going to find proof, signs, and synchronicities of the abundance available to you in your home or in just like in the places you tend to be the most, right? And that if you've been wondering if it's okay for you to go outside or not, that divine is saying, actually, I designed this entire time and you to fit together like a puzzle piece perfectly for some end that I have. Okay. All right. So that already seems like there are things that were set up, seeds planted, as well as something kind of outside of us that has nothing to do with our desire for a fresh start or to move forward, but everything to do with what divine wants. There's no reason to question then that there are good things coming, because it's like, oh, so I'm just supposed to do it, and in participating I get to experience the good stuff. Oh, okay, cool. No arguments there. All right, what else do we need to know? Let's look at the people around us, because it seems to kind of be coming up a little bit. Like, obviously, whether it was the people directly in our life, like family or something, or whether it was work, or, in my case, like I might receive attacks from all over the world from the internet. Like, who knows what's really going down when we're talking about feeling like we need to protect ourselves for a season and now feeling like we're supposed to put ourselves back out there. But the fact that people keep coming up to me says, there could be a part of us that is either fearful or worried or anxious, or even a part of us that's just simply confused or unsure, right? Like, where am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to be around? Who is safe for me? Who is not safe? And if I take that part out of like my comfort, if I'm supposed to be going out and lighting the way, then it's like, who am I supposed to be serving? How do I actually make these choices? For me, it starts with that support you're supposed to be receiving. Okay. So let's look at the people again outside of our inner self, and yet having a huge impact on who we are in our world and how things go forward. What do we need to understand from divine about the people in our life right now? The Chariot. I don't know if you're noticing, but all we have right now is court cards and major arcana. So the world around us seems to have a lot going on. A lot of changes are afoot. All right. We've also, by the way, seen like right now on the we have what? 7, 8, 9, 9, and then there's 1 or 10, however you want to see that. So okay. We are definitely in the flow, but I do think that our energy is taking a little while to catch up because we were protecting ourselves from whatever happened before. So I have talked about this with clients in the past where it's like sometimes your spirit is ready to go, your spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak is a thing, right? Even in Christianity or something. So it's like you want to know, you feel it, you sense it, but for some reason your body just won't or your brain just doesn't believe. But trust, clearly divine is up to something. And clearly your spiritual self is like, hey, this is what we've been doing the last few weeks and a couple months. You may not have understood why you had the urge or this or that, but I knew. So, okay. All right. So not only is this message, I think, from divine and your guides, but I think your inner self is like, we are good. We're safe. We can trust this. Let's step into it. Okay. So when it comes to the support, here's what's interesting. It's the Chariot. The Chariot is this really powerful warrior, highly skilled. This is someone who saves the kingdom. This could be talking about you and saying, you're meant to be someone who leads and who keeps everything going and everything together, right? When we were even talking about kind of dominion, right? The area or the things in your life that are either under your control or your influence. I think this also could be talking about the people that you're supposed to align yourself with are people who are doing the same things you are. So if you want to go be famous, go find people who also want to be famous. You want to go be a homesteader, go find people who want to do homesteading. We know that. Intellectually, we understand it. But social media, the internet, and like the way the world has been lately has made everything so much harder to be willing to go connect because we don't want to get taken advantage of. We don't want to be grifted. We don't want to align ourselves with someone that we really shouldn't trust. And so we kind of just stay to ourselves. So it's interesting. The hermit and the chariot together, if you see it one way, it could actually turn to the tower. If you see it as like, oh no, I'm supposed to be in and safe and away from everybody. And if I put myself out there, there's always this conflict and this war, then yeah, you're going to see this as like, oh no, that's not for me right now. I can't do that. But if you see this as the way that divine math, okay, I think divine mathematics and alchemy are very, very closely related. When you look at it that way, what happens is the number always adds back up to itself, right? 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 or 1 plus 0 is 1. This energy goes away. 9 plus 7 is 16. 1 plus 7 or 6 is 7. This energy goes away. And divine is saying to you, when you've been brought to this kind of divine 9 energy, that you have the opportunity to go forward, but you also have the chance to hold yourself back. So I like this, first of all. First and foremost, don't be afraid to lead the way. Don't be afraid to go forth and just power through with all the skills and knowledge, wisdom, understanding that you have. And also, don't be afraid to surround yourself with the people that are doing what you want to do. It's going to be weird. It's going to be hard, but even doing that is a skill in itself. This is really important because I do kind of feel like divine is asking us to put ourselves out there, but to be strategic with it. And for those of us who are already feeling kind of like isolated or lonely or whatever, that sounds daunting. But it seems like that's one of the most important things we can do for ourselves. There is another side of this that I think needs to be addressed. And what this says is, for some of us, the most important thing that we can actually do in order to make sure that our outer world is not screwing up what divine, like the path divine has laid out for us, is to not allow those who were supposed to be our support to continue to hurt us. So if there's someone in your life, or who you want to be in your life even, who does not offer you what you know you would give them, right? Like, you're a good partner, you're a good friend, you're a good family member, you're a good person. If you're not getting that, it is time for you to defeat them in the best way you can. And I feel like that has to be said because there's something about this energy that feels very strong, that feels very intentional, and also feels like kind of by any means necessary. This is giving the I'll never go hungry again, right? She realized she's been growing pentacles in the ground and that money does grow on trees this whole time. This is important. Do not let the fact that you have people around you telling you you're not enough or telling you it's a bad idea. I mean, if you've thought it through and it's clearly a bad idea and you want to do something that you know is, I don't know, that's another story. But if you're like, everyone except for the people who I want the support from says it's a good idea, then you know you're onto something. You must defeat the enemy. And sometimes the enemy can become your friends. Friends can become enemies, right? And right now, the enemy very well may be not people that you need to cut off completely, but in that moment, there could be a spirit of oppression in them, a spirit of jealousy in them, some spirit that says, I don't want you to go forward and do this thing. I don't want you to get your miracle. I don't want you to, end this season of delays and finally have that karma play out because I'm going to miss something. I'm going to lose something. There are people like that. And sometimes you don't cut them off completely, but you do have to kind of fly over, do your own thing. And then once you're flowing again, you can kind of circle back and be like, okay, now that I no longer feel so hurt that you didn't want to support me and that it was affecting me, we can be cool again. It's a rough thing, but it is a part of reality, especially if you're a really powerful person or a really gifted person, especially if you have a big purpose. It's something you're going to have to get used to that can make or break seasons of your life. All right. And finally, as we, complete kind of looking at the outer world, let's look at the overall legacy, right? If we were to go forward, if the delays are truly over and this is a season of miracles for us, if it's about us now and we're supposed to be going forward and really shining, what's the point? How's it going to affect the things around us? This could be even giving us information ahead of time that says, here's why you want to continue. Here's why you want to do this thing. Ooh, the Five of Pentacles. And this says, your blood, sweat, and tears, your effort, your willingness to change or to go with the flow of the change that divine seems to be bringing into your world is going to be the thing that finally allows that kind of spiritual sacrificial energy to open the doors to a life that you have never ever thought was possible. There are things that you've dreamed of, you've had fantasies, you've had all kinds of visions. But what you have been designed for and what is being unlocked right now, I just don't I don't think, and I think it's also because you're different. Remember, you're not who you were 5 years ago. You're very different from who you were 5 years ago. The person 5 years ago who had those dreams and visions and fantasies, that person, they didn't dream not even just as big as you do now. They didn't dream as divine as you do now. But if you've been limiting yourself, if you've been holding back, if you've been in hermit mode, if you've had some boundaries laid down because you really weren't certain and all that, that could also mean that you weren't allowing your spiritual creativity to flow the way that it should to be able to envision what's coming. The legacy that you will leave is that you will have more power, you will have more control, you will have, I think, greater dominion. Your kingdom is growing here. And that also means that you're going to have more people that you're going to affect in the same way. And I think what's happening is you're going to show them how to make the biggest sacrifices of their life so that they can do and be who they're meant to be and do what they're meant to do. This is big. You obviously have a very important purpose. And the thing is, you already know that. And that's where this season of delays has really thrown you because it's like, I just don't understand. You clearly made me gifted, blessed. You gave me all these things. You gave me even the desire to go out and do the things. Why aren't you giving me the energy to support it? Or why do I even feel like sometimes the energy's been directly against it? Your guides are trying to say to you, it wasn't time, but it is time now. I know you've heard that before, but there is something about this season that you know full well feels different. And it's really you in your wisdom trying not to let yourself get too excited and overwhelmed because you know what happens when you do that and you're wise enough to not let yourself get disappointed again. But divine is saying, "Oh, that wisdom is not for every season. That wisdom is for the seasons where it's time, right? To mourn, to be limited or whatever, if that's not this season." What do you need to understand? Now we're going to go into the inner world, right? This whole purpose, the purpose of this reading is to help you see why you can trust what you've been sensing, even though you feel like you've heard it all before and you just don't really believe it. Now we're going inside. What's happening in you that you've been sensing, feeling? You're about to get confirmation after confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. What do you need to know? First, let's start with the energy, right? Ooh. Wow, wow, wow. Judgment with a devil on it is and an angel too. Is this an angel? Yeah, it's like two holy people. This is really important because what this says is you have been your own worst critic. You do not believe this season is yours because you have let those whispers of negativity that, let's be real, they've been around for a long time. You've been hearing it for a really, really long time. But something happened in like the last couple of years where I guess maybe in the wisdom that you gained, you started judging yourself. And I think there was even some guilt, some shame. There was all these different things. And what you did not know is that you were not alone. You thought you were just growing and healing and ascending and that this was a part of your process. But what you did not know is that somewhere along the line, because of the energy that was, again, whether it's attacking you or whether it's just following you, whether it's looming or whether it's really direct oppression, there was an energy that was present. And I think there was even a part of you that said, you know what? I think I deserve this. Or maybe this is a part of this process. Not realizing, no, 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 no. See, you've never been here before and they took advantage of that. This won't happen again. I want you to know that. You'll never go through another season like the one you just had where you didn't realize what was happening. But what I love about this is divine doesn't make mistakes. Our angels and guides know how to talk to us. They choose and pick when they want to. So that tells me that that was exactly what was supposed to happen. You were supposed to go through that season, the last like year or two, exactly as you did, because now that you're out of it, you're going to be able to spot every single person. You might even be able to see the devil on their shoulders. You might be able to look at people and go, I can see what's happening to you right now. And sometimes you can see without having to go through, right? That's the beauty of having the clair of some sort. It's another story when you have it from experience and someone needs that because the clair only maybe does a little tingle for them, but there is something about the empathy that comes, right? From that connection of, oh, you too, and you know how to get out of it, or I saw someone or met someone who got out of it. That's actually world changing for people who aren't as spiritual as we are. And the truth is, not everybody you're meant to serve or interact with is going to be as spiritual as you. In fact, I personally believe that each of us has more non-spiritual people that we're meant to serve. Like, let's say every human on the planet, every person who's born has 100 people that they're meant to help in their life. I feel like 90 of them are going to be just regular Joe Schmoes. People who don't even know there's magic involved. You know what I mean? And maybe 8 of them are going to be people who kind of know something different about you, right? And then maybe 1 or 2 who they full on understand, they know they might even be that powerful. So this says you needed this. You know what's really messed up? And it's bothering me to hear it, but as I say it, it's like, oh wow. The last couple years were the most human of your life. Isn't that weird? Because it was actually probably the most spiritual too, which is like, what? How's that possible? How is it possible that I had just had the most spiritual years of my life and like the wisdom I have and the gifts and my awareness and all that is so it's peaking, right? I'm ascending. And yet the last couple years, it was so much human stuff that bothered me. It was so much human, like life was lifing in a human way. It was affecting me there in my outer physical world, my body, all that. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And it's like, oh, I see. Divine had you go through a human experience and spiritual ascension at the same time so that you understood how to exist in the duality, but also because you needed some training for whatever it is that you're about to do, like your service in, your purpose in, all of that. You needed to know what it felt like to be the human experiencing that as much as the divine being experiencing it. It's kind of like, well, I'm already human. I don't need you to add that on, right, divine? But it's like, well, no, I think they know better. So, okay. The season we were in was a season of judgment, and we had a rider along. Okay. This person was not supposed to be there. We didn't even know they were there. We had a stowaway, and they were negatively influencing the last couple of years. But what are we missing about that? Ah, the Page of Pentacles. And I hear and see all seeing eye. And it's giving like it even kind of looks like this we only see half of her face here, but I don't know why. Even this. Oh wow. And that's her too. I just realized that's her. So the legacy that we leave is that we get to help the world experience some of the same peace, love, understanding, all that we get to experience. And the only way we really got to do that was to go through what they went through. It's almost giving Jesus. This is so silly because some people are going to be like, are you saying we're all, no, whatever. Take this as you need to. But it's almost like, if the story of Jesus is real, then what is it? God came down to be a human. Yeah. Okay. So it's almost like your spiritual self needed to experience that stuff so that you could look at someone and say, "Hey, I understand and feel your pain." And you knew you did, and there was no question in you. There was no fear, no worry, no like, "Oh, can I really help them?" Like, no, you knew exactly what they were going through. I don't know, I feel like that's really, really important to others, but it's also important for our confidence. There is certain Have you ever talked to someone who's so zen, so sure, so certain? You told them their problem, they gave you a solution, you did it, and it worked out flawlessly? It doesn't always happen. We're lucky if we have people like that in our lives, but we remember those people because it's almost like, what are you? But I guarantee you that Zen didn't just come because they were just a magical person. It came because they knew, they experienced it, they walked it, they saw it, something. And I think that as a divine being, your job is to be able to bring the divine into the world. And the only way for you to know that is to know what areas of the world are lacking the divinity, lacking peace, lacking understanding. And you just went through that for 2 years, maybe shorter, maybe longer. But now, this year, I think you've been sensing, feeling like, okay, I think something's supposed to be different. I'm trying to make changes, nothing's working. Divine is helping you understand now. This was really not in your control. This was not a season where you were meant to be the one fixing everything. Now, I think the next season is way more control for us. I think it's way more hands on. But the last season that you were in was meant to be a season of experiencing and observing so that you could then show the world the truth of divine and help it to awaken it in others. Now, let's actually look at this. Let's start with love. And I will be real, not everybody is going to have stress in that. But if you are a part of my original ministry, this is important. All right, so let's look at this. What do we need to understand about how our love life, lack thereof, or the intensity of it, or whatever it is shifting and changing? How can we be certain that even that is a part of the new season? What do we need to understand about what's been happening? Whoa. Okay, this is huge. So, we have a 6 of pentacles. Right after the 5, we have 6. We also see 2 scales and we see someone with a cup, right? But what's this? I'm pretty sure it's this. I'm pretty sure that that is that devil right there. And that is us, the angel, kind of experiencing. And what's happened? Oh, this is going deep. This is going deep. In my ministry, I talk about the 6 of pentacles being the way that our partner typically shows love, right? So the devil not only chose what the balance, the scales, all that, what that was going to be like, but then also was the one that provided the information to you. The darkness was somehow rebalancing the scales of information or in complete control of what you thought you knew. So this could be what you thought you knew about the concept of love or whatever spiritual, soulmates, da da da. Da. This could also be what you thought about the person themselves. This could be what you thought about love for yourself in the future. They could have been coming to you and saying, "Listen, you believe this judgment upon yourself is right. You believe that you deserve to be stuck in hermit mode forever. You think that's true. Okay, very, very good. I'm also going to add in that that means you'll never be in love or no one will ever love you or that you're unlovable or blah, 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 blah." And so I'm curious, is there something that made you feel that that was possible? Like, I guess what my real question would be is, what was the statement or the question or the idea in your head? Like, I remember there's been multiple times in my life where I've just thought maybe I'm meant to be a eunuch or like married to God or a nun or something. Maybe there's been times where it's like maybe I'm not meant to be married or, maybe I'll just have like partners and companions here and there and I'm just meant to. Oh, I remember one time I had a thought like maybe I'm supposed to be the one who like prepares the guy for their wife, right? Like I'll be with them and make them the best and then they'll leave me to go to someone. I've had thoughts like that in different long periods and seasons and stuff like that. So I will say I am curious to see what it was, and I hope that you'd be willing to share. I just think that if this is the first thing that we tend to focus on in our innermost self is like, am I lovable or will I ever have companion or love or whatever? This might just be because, like me, relationships are probably one of the most important things in the world to me. So, of course, that is the thing divine uses to get my attention or to speak to me or whatever. But I don't know. This just feels like a really messed up way that it's easy to affect the whole inside is to tell someone, I mean, even just down to like, oh, whatever gender you like is like evil. So if you've been told by this dark whatever in as you've established these judgments in your life that, oh yeah, all men are dogs and they're just going to hurt you and da da da. And then and it's not even like you hear it and you think, oh, yeah, yeah. No, you start to really internalize it. Then, of course, in your brain, what? You'll never be with anyone because why would you be with a dog? So, yeah, this I would really love to know what's been the repeating thing about love for you in the season that, like, in the negative part of it. Okay. All right. I think the main thing that we're supposed to understand about this is we've been kind of wrong and had it completely twisted, which means that the last season, we might have this is gonna sound weird, but it's almost like we were on these, like, superficial mantras, right? Like, "Oh, I'll never have love, da 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 da," and we kinda just kept going with that thinking like, "Yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing about the season." Meanwhile, there's this whole iceberg underneath that whoever wanted us to be distracted or believe this false idea, they didn't want us to know all this other stuff. Is it all about love or, our self, partnership, whatever? Maybe. But what if the distraction about love was also trying to distract you from this information down here about your purpose or anything? Who knows what they were trying to distract you from? If you're like me and love matters to you, maybe more than anything, even if you're trying to get healthy and get better, if it just does and it always has, yeah, they're going to lie to you there and use those lies to manipulate every other part of your life. If you cared more about like money and finances and achievements and da da da, they're going to use that to affect every other part of your life. So this is huge. What else do we need to understand? Because this seems to be changing, but it's almost like divine is saying to us, you need to pour out what you thought you knew. Just pour it out and let me hand you this. Let me tell you what the love of your life is supposed to be like. The last thing I'll say on this, because I really know I'm supposed to keep going, but I feel like there's somebody out there who might need to hear this. One of the biggest things that I did during my time before I was with my partner was I actually wrote down what I wanted. And I don't mean like, oh, tall, dark, and handsome or something. Like, I didn't really do physical traits. I actually wrote down the things that triggered me or upset me in relationships and what I would actually want, right? So it was like I didn't like that someone in my past did not keep up with me, text me, like call me. Like I felt that I was always reaching out to them. So I actually wrote down they keep up with me throughout the day. They love to check in on me and know how I'm doing. It sounds silly, but I went through and I just wrote all that stuff down. And suddenly I manifested a partner or affirmed my own energy into the right frequency to get a partner. I don't know. So I do think that this might be, if you're really resonating with this, I want you to think about that. Write down all the stuff that you think you deserve or you think a partnership is or you think is true about like love or yourself or life or whatever it is, or even write down a strong like traits and characteristics list of the person that you need to be your best self. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's keep going. Sorry, I'm more of a coach than I am a reader. All right. I'm intuitive, so I'm good with cards, but I'm a coach first. So forgive me for the gems that I drop if that's not for you. Let's get back to it. The next thing we need to focus on is our growth and the ascension work we've been doing, right? This is inside, we have felt more powerful. Outside, we felt oppressed. That then became confusing because it's like, okay, divine, what's the point? Why would you make me feel powerful and then put me in a cage? That's awful. What do we need to understand about this, especially as we go into this season? That everything we've been gaining, gleaning, all that is actually going to get put to use and make sense. And ah, sorry. All right. Ooh, 10 of Wands. Oh my gosh. This says there was so much of our growth that actually brought about a lot of stress and overwhelm. And this is kind of what I was talking about with the judgment card. I mean, it kind of all goes together here with this. But it was like, look, the more information you received, the more foolish you felt sometimes, or the more guilt you felt about not going faster. Or I remember the first time I told one of my clients, like, listen, there's someone out there who's waiting for you. And I believe this. I think this is true for all of us. There's someone out there waiting for you. They don't know what they're waiting for. Just like before you got that aha moment from someone that you saw or heard or read or whatever, you didn't know that's what you needed until you had it. And then what did you say? Where was this information my whole life? Or you said, where have you been? This is crazy. I wish I would have met you 5 years ago, right? So the first time someone heard me say that, I remember them just breaking down because they were like, "Oh no," and their their first instinct was like, "What's wrong with me? How could I be so selfish that I was more focused on myself and blah 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 and didn't go like live out my purpose?" And I kind of had to quell that a little bit because I was like, "Hold on, it's okay." But that can happen sometimes where when you start to learn about the mysteries of the world and the universe and of time and space and all of that, oh, your humanity feels gross. Your experiences feel awful. You feel dumb. You like, and you're not supposed to, right? But it's just kind of a human thing that happens at first, and with the right guides or teachers, or even the right piece inside you, that goes away. But that is one of the first thing that can happen to somebody who's maybe doing a little here and there. But when you're doing an extended period of growth or a lifetime learning kind of thing, oh my goodness, the amount of times that you just will even start to feel it in your body, in your brain, you'll get, your head will start to hurt from all the signs and the sinks, right? All kinds of things can happen on the journey, and it can just make you feel like, I give up, or why do I bother? Or every time I try to fix something, divine comes in with this new download of information. I got even more stuff that I'm messing up on, right? That is done. Why? Because where the point that you've reached on your journey of understanding is that there's no need for all that. See, there is something that happens because the world around us, there's a lot of people that are seeking vengeance and retribution, right? And that can trickle into other parts of life. And so we will start to feel the weight of the world, the eyes of the world upon us in that moment. Like, if someone did know this thing about me, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Or they would be mad at me, or, they would want the vengeance for what I did or didn't do or missed or whatever. And so this can go away now, because in the new season, you'll realize that you were mixing spirit and like physical in a way inside your body that would make anybody sick or make anybody cry or make anybody hurt or make anybody feel guilty. And you're not going to do that anymore. This new season will also feel different because you're not going to feel like you just keep pouring and pouring and pouring and nothing's work, or like you should just give up even though you still are buzzing with energy. You ever did something 10 times? Like, imagine you're trying to build a house of cards, and every time you get to that first layer and first level of like, oh yes, time to go up, it falls. After a while, you just say, I'm done. And you're like, you knock the cards over, you sit there. But everything in you is like, I really wanted to build a house of cards today. But you're like, no, I can't. Imagine going through that for days, weeks, months, years. Imagine wanting to do the thing. You have the things right in front of you. It's almost giving executive dysfunction, like spiritual executive dysfunction. But understand this: Divine knew that was happening. Divine may have even designed that season to happen that way. And Divine knows in the new season that you don't need this, that this will bring you down, that having the wrong ideas, let me put this actually together, having the wrong ideas about love and relationships and who you are and your worth, and having the wrong ideas about how the things that you've learned and the growth that you've had and everything you're supposed to be doing is supposed to be applied to the world, that is catastrophic. it's kind of what you had sensed in the like recent years. I think some of you felt like I'm hearing collapse. I'm hearing adrenals are fried. I'm hearing and sensing that even like me, many of you were experiencing this point where it was almost like I can't anymore. And it's like that energy doesn't really work well with the new season. The new season actually needs something a bit different. The old season kind of needed that energy. It needed it because it was the right fuel for the right things to fall away or to intensify and combust. So I need you to then ask yourself, how can I release? Because that's what both of these things are about, right? It's like, how can I release what I thought I knew about love or my expectations about it, especially with regard to what I think it means about me as a person? Did I make the identity that I had, like maybe as a single person or a person in a complicated relationship or dealing with a rough marriage, into like, this is my being? Because if I did that, then that means every other part of who I am went out the window. And it also means that the way that I feel about that situation is the way I feel about me. And you don't deserve that. And your growth has taught you otherwise, but you feel it in your body and the questions you have are valid. Divine is doing a new thing. It is time for us to release. Okay, what about our our resources? And I'm not talking about our physical resources, right? So I'm not talking about money or the things that you have. I'm actually talking about your internal, your skills, but also even like your health, all the things that come together to where you're actually able to have what you need to do the things you need to do. What is Divine trying to talk to you about here? Why is this so important right now? All the Page of Swords. This is so interesting because if we're talking about like our internal skills and abilities and all that, right? The resources that we can draw from internally, the Page of Swords is the least competent page. The Page of Swords becomes the Knight of Swords, who is the most highly skilled knight. So the swords energy goes through this really, because it's that internal conflict and that dissonance. It goes through this really huge shift between the novice and the highly skilled. I don't think you know that you were made for this. See, the Page of Swords, the story that I get with the Page of Swords is that this person is the prince of the kingdom and they're going to be the king. They're going to be a great knight. It's just kind of expected. But because they live in such a really powerful kingdom and everybody around them is pretty decent with a sword, everybody around them knows how to ride a horse. Half the knights around him are bigger than him when he's a kid. In his mind, he's like, any of these other people can go be the king. Why would they even let me? Not understanding that in this country and in this world, you're going to be the king because it's written to be so. And it's already decided. It doesn't matter that someone's bigger or better. Da, 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 da. In fact, if you sucked as a person, you'd probably still end up being the dang on prince. But they don't know that. They don't understand that they are the crown prince, that they were designed, that their whole life has been building up to the point so that they could be the king that they're supposed to be in their timeline. They don't know that the things that their dad might have dealt with as the king, the time when they'll be king, there'll be different problems, different things. They don't need to be perfect at that. They need to be good at what's their stuff. That's you. You don't realize that you were designed. This is your kingdom. You don't realize that Divine created this for you. Your angels and guides are trying to tell you you have been stuck outside your kingdom for so long and you still made the best of it. Most people wouldn't have survived, but you know your land so well. You understand and are connected so well to it spiritually. You're probably getting, what's that, like Snow White, where the animals come up to you and bring you food. Like that is how blessed you are in the right position. Now, you want to go run somebody else's kingdom? You want to be worried about was it somebody else going on? Yeah, it's going to be bad. You want to go do somebody else's thing? Yeah, you're going to suck at it. But your thing? No one else could do it. No one. You have to ask yourself, with all the growth that you've done, why do you still not believe in yourself? Because that is a part of what's making you think that the season that's coming probably isn't even real. Okay. And finally, overall, I want to understand how the new season is bringing new life to us. Like talking about us having this vitality and this expression of self that is richer and deeper and more powerful. Like, what is it that we must understand internally? Like, that's going to change within us. That's already been, the seed has been planted. It's already been growing. What do we need to know? Oh, I love it. The Fool. Okay. There's so much here. What I like about this is the Fool seems to have taken a little bit of everything from every little part of this, from every season, from all the things. And a part of this new beginning is about giving you that feeling of I'm good. In fact, maybe I'm great. A part of this new season is just making you feel like life is beautiful again. And I'm sorry, after everything we've been through, after everything you've been through, does life really feel beautiful most days right now? What's interesting is there's a party that might want to go, no. There's another party that's like, oh, I can feel that it's yes. What? Look, I don't think that the season is coming. I do think we've already stepped into it, but I think that we're in such the early energy of it that it doesn't feel like it. The way I always explain it is, imagine it's January 1st and you just wrote December 31st of the previous year on the as your date, and you go oopsie, and then imagine it's January 31st. And maybe you actually wrote January 31st, but now you still wrote the previous year. Maybe by March, April, you stop doing that altogether, right? Because you're finally like in it and you remember like, yeah, that's now it's this time. Right now, you're in the January part of this season and it just doesn't feel different. It doesn't feel like you're really there. It doesn't feel like anything's going to get better. But divine is trying to point something out to you. Spiritually speaking, you've been in this season. Your spiritual self can go ahead of you sometimes. Your spiritual self is very expansive. Your spiritual self has known for a while now. There's something about these two cards that just feel like they go together. Your spiritual self is known for a while now. But your physical self was so humbled by life the last few years, last couple of years, and by things not going the way they were supposed to go the last couple like weeks and months, that it's almost like you humbled yourself out of blessings. You humbled yourself out of your own purpose. And it's beautiful that you don't want to be in your ego anymore. But divine wants you to understand something. Your ego never dies. If it did, you're gone too, okay? Your ego, it's like this part of you that connects your soul and your mind and your body. And in a negative place, that thing just wants to be comfortable. It does not want to feel any discomfort. And that's usually where egos do what they do. They show up in different ways. But divine is saying to you, you're going to need that part of yourself, okay? You're going to need that part of yourself as almost like not even fuel, but like the driver. So like a really, really wealthy person, they go and they have like a Maybach or something, right? And they don't drive the Maybach. A driver drives the Maybach, okay? Now, is that driver in charge? No. You'd be like, well, they're in the driver's seat and they're being paid to go where they're being told to go. And that's their specialty. Your ego, when you train it, when you grow, you basically have trained your ego to be your driver. You tell it where to go, and you train your ego to also be motivated by some sort of payment, right? Instead of being afraid, your ego is now motivated. It's excited. And it might even feel anxious sometimes, right? But it's not a negative. It's not distress. It's eustress. It is the good kind of stress. Everything's just going to be different now. And I know you're not going to trust me or yourself or your God, your spirit, source, universe, divine, your guides. You're not going to trust it until you're probably in the April, March of the season, right? You're in the January, you're not going to listen, and that's okay. But this seed was meant to be planted so that you could look around yourself and examine this. Do I have more available to me around me and inside me than I think? Especially when I've been renewed? Have I been feeling the urge to kind of put myself out there, even though I really don't know how I'm supposed to do that? Divine is saying you need to get more specific and stop being general, broad, and going back to your old hangouts and do something new that fits your future self. Don't go somewhere yourself 5 years ago wanted to go, or even the part of yourself right now that's like, I don't know, I guess I should just do something. Go to the place where the person you're going to be in 10 years is going to feel comfortable. It'll be uncomfortable, but that's how you get to being there 10 years from now. Do you feel like divine is encouraging you to do something in your world, your life, your future, whatever, without the support that you desire or even know you're supposed to have? That's the weird part. Sometimes divine will make sure we know that we were supposed to be supported in that. Saying, hey, you have the power to do it yourself, but you shouldn't have had to. And it's like, why would you say that, divine? Like, and it's like, no, because divine doesn't want you to then turn around and give to those people who are supposed to support you. Divine is giving you boundaries, limitations, separations, but also giving you openings and pathways and doorways. And you're going to, in your discernment, know what's what and when's when. Divine wants you to understand that the fear you've had was valid, but it's not anymore. And that's a weird thing to sit with because we know people who will carry something that they were afraid of or mad about or sad about or whatever into their deathbed, into their old age until they die and go, man, I wish I would have just dealt with that 25 years ago, 35 years ago, 50 years ago. I wish I just would have made up with this person. I wish I would have just wrote the book or tried the thing or cooked the meal. We know people that do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because we are meant for more. And there are people who need us to do more. We're getting the keys to our kingdom. We're going to unlock the door and we're going to be pleasantly surprised to find someone has been taking care of it. Our angels and guides have made sure, and maybe even our spiritual self has been going there when we're not really paying attention and keeping it up. Trust that the changes that you're about to make, that you've been trying to make, but also kind of didn't feel comfortable with and wasn't really sure how and all that. Now you're going to, I feel like the next like 30 days after, whenever you find this reading, whenever this message was meant to find you, you're just going to kind of have like this mojo about you that you can't quite explain. And I think that dealing with that part of the outer world then allows you to deal with the inner world. These are all these different parts of who we are. There's more than this, right? But these are kind of the different parts of who we are that make up this self, right? And what we don't understand is that each of these individual unique things is so interconnected. It's not, okay, here's my love life and then like whatever that was, right? It's like, no, it's all connected. This affects this. This affects this, right? Every single card affects every other card. And once we start to understand that and we go, okay, it looks like me not having fun. Here's a card that can be a little bit heavy sometimes, right? Um, Me not being able to leave my legacy. All right, let's see. Me being uncertain about my love life or being in, maybe even in the negative about it. Me not necessarily having the best go of it when it comes to my growth, just because what I'm learning and growing into is actually making me kind of sick of myself a little bit. Like these different areas at this time, Divine is trying to bring to my attention, seem to be my problem areas. Now I understand something. These are actually giving me a lot of unknowns with all the other stuff. So maybe I didn't realize that these things that seemed like just energies, but now when I look at them and kind of these voids that they're creating were really affecting me here or affecting me here or how they were interacting. Divine is trying to get your attention because there is a lot more coming on the way. But this season is all about you finally feeling like it's your time, finally feeling like there's going to be justice brought to your, I don't even know how to explain it, like who you are, your skills, your experiences, like everything that is your existence will now make more sense I can't explain it because you've been thinking about it so hard the last couple of years. You're going to be able to see it so much more clearly now. So I hope this is a blessing. I want to pull a single little rune because I kind of feel like this. I feel like this is what's holding it all together. It's like a little flower. Okay. This is our little flower of life. What do we need to know here? What does divine want us to understand from this reading? You have been protected and you will continue to be protected. There is a divine provision. There are divine accommodations. There are so many things that you see more as things that happen in the physical world that are for someone else, but not you. Enough. Everything's different. It already is different, but you're about to finally get to see it in action. And it's going to feel so good. So you no longer, it's funny that we talk about protection because the very beginning of the reading seemed to be the whole reason we got into this mess in the first place is because we had a legitimate reason to protect ourselves. There was things going on, experiences in our life, whatever it is, right? But now Divine is saying, this is another season. This is a new time. And in this season, I'm going to protect you. You don't have to do all the things you did before. That's a blessing. Let me look up the Hamsas and just see what does it mean if the Hamsa shows up in my reading about a new season. I like that. All right, let's see. If a Hamsa appears in a reading about your new season, it serves as a powerful symbol of spiritual protection, divine blessing, and good fortune for the upcoming chapter of your life. As an ancient palm-shaped amulet, the Hamsa indicates that you are entering this new phase with energetic support and a shield against negativity, called it. Depending on how it appeared, it can carry several meanings. So there's shielding from negativity, releasing shadow elements, embracing the 5 key pillars. The 5 fingers can act as a reminder to balance your senses or connect with the elements to stay grounded during times of change. That's good for somebody. And universal blessings. The symbol encourages you to trust that you're on the right path. So I hope that this has been a blessing to someone out there. I want you to think about it. There have not been very many people in this reading. YouTube does not share these messages because I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. So after this message, when I close it out, it's going to go private immediately. That's how YouTube works with small channels. You were meant to see this. I'm just saying, like, there's only been maybe 15 people here the entire time max. You were meant to see this. For some reason, you're having trouble trusting and believing, but I am telling you right now, you are next in line for a miracle. Your miracle. I want you to ask yourself if there's anything that you can do to support divine in ushering in the new season or releasing anything so that the delays can be flown away. Just bye-bye. I love you. Oh, if you're interested in working with me, I haven't been going live very often lately, so I've kind of been forgetting to do this. I wanted to specifically show you I am on call. Okay, guys? So if you're interested in working with me, this is actually what I recommend is just have a call. We can do tarot over the phone, or we can do just like a call, coaching, advising, guidance. You can just vent even. But I'm really good at what I do because this is a part of my purpose. This is one of the phases of my life purpose and my life's work. And I would love to help you with this because this is right up my alley. All right. I am all about new seasons. I'm a project manager. Like this is like, so I'm excited to see what this means for me. I would love to help you when you discern what it means for you or to help you figure that out. I love you so much and I will talk to you soon. Peace.